into Hyperborea versus Story Enjoyers. It's be a little bit interesting. Let's see how we go. We have Story Enjoyers on the defense side, so I'm assuming Hyperborea. Story Enjoyers chose the map, and Hyperborea chose the side, because I don't know why you would ever choose defender side on Harbor City. So we go into the setup. I'm a little confused here. How is Story Enjoyers going to do this defense? Units being drafted in. Okay. Doesn't look like they're bringing any cannons. No Lion Roar from Story Enjoyers. No Falcos either. No Javs. Hyperborea having 2 sets of flames and a cannon. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. It does look like Story Enjoyers do have the Culverin and the Comet set up, so we will see a tower denial here. Also, Story Enjoyers having the Zealots as well. Using double Scorpio. Very interesting here. I'm a little confused of how this is really going to be going. I don't know why it says GTD versus... Okay, there we go. Now it's changed. Hyperborea versus Story Enjoyers. I'm a little confused how this will really pan out. This is... I'm sure everyone's played on this map of Harbor City Attack. Harbor City Attack is really hard to lose, so I'm very interested to see how Story Enjoyers will defend this matchup. Defend this map. It does look like they will maybe be doing a tower denial. Let us go over here as we go into the start of the match. This looks like Hyperborea sprinting at main gate. Very interesting here from Hyperborea. Actually, are they going to play these Comets? Uh-oh. This is going to be really bad for Story Enjoyers. Hyperborea plays the Flaming Comets to immediately go into the A gate, not waiting for a tower to land, and instead just sprinting in through. We do have the ISG going in through. We do have the Rattan Vipers by Story Enjoyers to slow down this push just a little bit here. As Hyperborea goes in through the A gate. A little bit interesting here. I'm a little confused as to what the planning is, but Hyperborea is now stuck in gate. Cannon shot goes in, kills 12 Rattan Vipers, but Hyperborea is getting commented to hell and back here. But the cannon is doing good value. We do have these stalwarts, lone stalwart trying to brace in front of the ISG there. A good CCI gets the cav as Hyperborea now floods in with their cavalry of their own. A little bit confused, Yorkis there. Cav comes in to get into the back of Story Enjoyers, but now Hyperborea is getting swarmed by the enemy cav. Story Enjoyers is coming in with their own cav. It does look like Hyperborea really has the anti-cav to deal with this, as Hyperborea is now going to be selling out of. They just do not have the infantry or the anti-cav to be able to deal with Story Enjoyers coming back with their own cav. I also have an Sippy, he's in there as well. So now Story Enjoyers sallies out and is able to break all of Hyperborea's Flaming Comets that they place in there. A little bit confusing of a rush here. They do look like they are going to be able to get the A point. Story Enjoyers is coming up to defend that A point. They do have their DB and a Poleaxe already up there. But 2 Bastard Swords doing good damage. Does kill the Dual Blade. Unfortunately, Dual Blade is not going to be able to do much against the double Bastard Sword, as now the Bastard Swords are going to be a little bit pressured off here. But double does look like one of the Bastard Swords will be caught and executed for his sins of killing the Dual Blade player there. So we go into that after that exchange there. 1100 versus 1500. A little bit confusing by Hyperborea. As we go in there, exchange goes in. It looks like all of Hyperborea probably lost life. Yeah, all of them basically on their first death, where Story Enjoyers, only 2 people died in that exchange. A little confused of why we are A-rushing, but I guess they saw the Zealots and thought that they could go in, but they ran in and then they stopped, which is definitely a very confusing thing when you know your enemy team has the Zealots. and they have to swap out their units. Does look like Storage Droids is now going to be charging their zealots in the middle street area there. As we can see over here, they do have the purple Scorpio just kind of chilling in that main street there, watching down the gateway. So watch down the gateway so they can see if Hyperborea tries to do that sprint and strut again. As Storage Droids also has their cannons, they were able to break that right tower. It does look like they will be able to get the middle tower as well. So good tower denial by Story Enjoyers. Middle tower down to 1 HP. It does look like it's getting close. Do they have another artillery piece for it? Close, getting close. Just needs to one hit. We don't have a musket. We don't have a longbow. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be jumping for it. It's getting pinged. We do have a flaming comet on the left tower, so we do break the left tower, but we do let the middle tower land. A little confusing there, breaking the left tower, but letting the middle tower land. Definitely not doing probably what they want. Probably wanted to break this middle tower to stall a little bit more time out, but what can you really do? As we go into this power push up, Mortar gets a good hit onto those Spartans. Story Enjoyers swapping out their units. A lot of swaps coming in. Doesn't look like Hyperborea is prepared for this push yet either. So plenty of time to really regroup and prepare. We do have our 5 models of Raton Vipers doing God's work, and their God, never mind. Hyperborea gets this A point. Story Enjoyers doing a little bit of positioning it further towards their other supply. Maybe giving, I don't think they would be giving up this forward supply, maybe position towards that back supply, so in case they have to rotate towards it, they are closer to it. And really that forward supply, this forward supply is never getting pulled from anyways, so womp womp, whatever. And they're positioning behind the back, back building. Building? Front building? I don't know what you'd call this. There's just buildings here. I don't have a specific call out for them. Boreas sitting on the wall waiting for all their teammates to come back. They do have Flames and Cocos now. So a little bit of double specialty. Very interesting here from Hyperborea. As they continue on. Why do I not have music? Oh, I can't. Well. It's just really quiet. It's very... Sorry guys, just awkward silence whenever I stop talking because the game doesn't have music, even though I have background music on. Hyperborea looking to push down the stairs, figured out that they've spent enough time on the wall. It does get hit by a... Ooh, that Scorpio's dangerous. The flames do explode and kill a big chunk of the blob there. That amazing Scorpio hit by Story Enjoyers does get the flames out of... Gets most of the flames out of the fight, and the Cocos are down to 5 models as well. That was a big explosion there from Story Enjoyers, getting a lot of Hyperborea specialty out of the fight already. As we have a little bit of a weird engagement here, a little bit of stairs engagement, a little bit of common engagement, cab coming in from Story Enjoyers on to the point there. It doesn't look like Hyperborea has the handicap to get into this because the Leos just run through this engagement, not even going for a fling, just straight on into Hyperborea and just will wipe the floor with them. Does look like they will be able to get the supply, but you're never pulling from the supply in this scenario. So while Hyperborea does get into the supply, they will not be able to get pulls, and they will be farmed as they try to escape a little bit. So they are trying to, we do have 2 players coming in a little bit late into this fight, trying to like maybe clean up some traits there, but looking a little bit weird here as they get engulfed and devoured by Story Enjoyers. A little bit of back cap progression by Hyperborea. They do get a Bastard Sword on the back there, but so sleepy. No, that's Ripcats. Ripcats. Story Enjoyers Ripcats on the Bastard Sword will get him down with the Yorkist Cavalry. Yorkist Knights Hyperborea looking pretty weak here. A lot of their players on their last life here. They do have 9 minutes on the clock and still 11 artillery pieces, so plenty of time, plenty of artillery to really take their time to win these fights, but it's looking a little bit scary. 700 versus 1370. They have to make a really good play here, and really when you're 600 units down, 670 units down, what can you really do to make the play here to win? As they group up on the wall, looks like they do have some people going for the small gate there. Doesn't look like we have a death match on the wall there. Will anybody die? It does look like Storyjoy's Cursed Fly will go down while we are at that spot. Let's look to see if any of Storyjoy's are on their last life. And it does look like Cursed Pad is on his last life, but most of Storyjoy's actually have not died yet. Only Cursed Fly and Cursed Pad dying on the team. Looks like now Hyperborea is going immediately. They've gathered up their troops as let's do a quick scan. Going down this staircase now instead, realizing maybe we don't want to push to the supply point. Instead, going down the staircase so you have a little bit closer to the enemy team. Storyjoy is trying to place a Flaming Comet. Does get the Flaming Comet down right in front of Hyperborea there. As the fight rages on, it does look like the Storyjoy's Flaming Comet was immediately broken. Flames also had in by Hyperborea, but the Liao's into the back of Hyperborea, getting massive value. Doesn't get the Demence Arbalist down as they envelop Hyperborea, and Hyperborea just losing the infantry fight as well. The cav by Storyjoy is just sweeping up. They're holding on by their skin of their teeth, but it just will not be enough as the Liao Rangers clean up the fight. The Liaos and the Spartans clean up the fight, with Hyperborea really not looking like they had ever a chance of holding their own there as they came down the stairs. Looking pretty embarrassing for Hyperborea. Amazing plays by Story Enjoyers as they clean up all of Hyperborea here. 6 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. Hyperborea having three people out of the fight, maybe even more as this fight still rages on. But they're down to 270 units. This is just so one-sided that really what can you do as Hyperborea at this point? Dual Blade may be going down here trying to escape the Bastard Sword, but actually no, it does look like the Dual Blade will go down to the Bastard Sword. But at this stage in the game, you have 260 units versus 1,100, and it looks like Hyperborea is quite literally out of this fight. They don't have the units, they don't have the players, but they do have the time, but time will not help you when you are 800 units in a deficit. Amazing play by Story Enjoyers here. It does look like Ajax will be going into the small gate trying to get some value with his Yorkites, but will go down swarmed by enemy cavalry as now Story Enjoyers sallies out into Hyperborea with 5.5 minutes on the clock. Fast plays by Hyperborea, but it does look like playing fast just did not help them here. So you go even further to get farmed even more here. They are trying to trade a little bit more into Story Enjoyers, trying to make the trade look a little bit better. You know, and a Sally, you kind of lose some value there, but really, that's over. Hyperborea on having one person, 2, 3, 4 people on their last life here. It looks like Zhao will be going down. That was another person down and out of fight. And now all of Hyperborea, besides one guy, is no longer able to play in this match. Well, this one guy has to do God's work. Congratulations to Story Enjoyers, quite simply stomping Hyperborea here in a map that is considered more favored towards the attackers, showing that yes, as a defender you can still win Harbor City. That doesn't look like it spawned yet. The match should be ending soon, but we'll see exactly how soon that will be ending. As we're still waiting for Hyperborea to leave the match. I think if I leave spectating, I will not get the end screen. That being said, for everybody here, this will be the last match that I am casting. You will have to go to other people to see the next lineups. I will link them in chat so that you can decide who you wish to go to for how this goes. I don't believe any of them are English speaking, so that is going to be unfortunate for you guys. I can only understand English. Wait, do I have another English? Never mind, I have Spanish. Okay. Here are the links for the other streamers that are streaming these matches. You will have to pick from one of those three. None of them are English. Unfortunately, guys, I will not be able to cast for you as my match is the next one coming in. As now the victory screen has shown here. Let's go over the stats for nerds. First of all, post-battle analysis. This graph that we all kind of love and hate. It looks like, as you can see here by this first fight, amazing. This rush here by Hyperborea just was not the play, as you can see by this death count, losing around 400 units compared to Story Enjoyers losing about 100. Insane deficit. Getting a full 45 hero kills by Story Enjoyers. Amazing play there. As we go over to actual stats for nerds of how the people did this, Hyperborea stats for nerds. Here you go. Yeah. Yeah. Stats. It's beautiful, isn't it? And then there's the Story Enjoyer stats. Yeah. You're lucky I have to like space when I click because of the click for more details. As your stats for nerds. Thank you all for